Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday night journaling. Um, just going to ramble for a bit while people hopefully hop in and join me for the journaling. So if you're here, please drop a hello in the chat. Sorry about my voice. I don't know what the heck happened. I woke up last night coughing like crazy, and my throat has been super sore. I had strep throat like last week and was over it, and this doesn't feel the same. This is more of a cough, but yeah, it's messing up the voice. So but yeah, if you're here, say hello. I'd love to find out who is here live. If you're watching on the replay, also feel free to say hello in the comments. um, Again, I'd love to know who's watching with me and journaling with me. So um, welcome back to our shared little corner of Sunday night. So if this is your first time here, I am Brooke. Um, I run the channel Grief Sucks with Brooke Carlock, and I host the Morning Coffee podcast. We had an episode this morning um, that was really interesting about trauma and grief and loss and relationships. So feel free to check that out on my channel if that sounds interesting to you. Um, I am journaling here and journaling with you guys because, grief changes your brain and your heart, and writing is a way to kind of give you a doorway back to yourself. And I had journaled a lot right after the loss of my 10-year-old daughter, Libby. And then, kind of fell to the side and I wasn't journaling as much, and I wanted to get back into it. So that is what we are doing here, and I'll keep doing this on Sundays for the foreseeable future as long as people are finding it helpful. So the question we're dealing with today is a big one. Last week was not quite as big. I just wanted to dip our toes in a little bit. This one's a little more deep, and this one, it hits kind of hard for me. So we're going to be talking about who we are now after our losses, and that can be a really scary question, especially after a big loss. Um, our identity can shatter. I know mine did after I lost my daughter, and I lost both my parents, so I was no longer a daughter. And this isn't about finding answers or getting any answers from our writing. It's more about kind of exploring what's true for us and how we're feeling right now at this moment. So that is the goal. Identity and grief it's kind of a messy topic because we lose people who reflect us back to ourselves, if that makes sense. So, as a parent, I'm a certain way to my child, and as a daughter, I'm a certain way to my parents, and as a sibling, I'm a certain way to my siblings. And we can lose those roles as caregivers, daughters, sons, sisters, brothers, moms, dads, in the everyday sense. And we kind of lose that future that we assumed that we would have. And that's kind of the space we're going to be writing from tonight. And I'm interested to see what I come up with tonight, because this is really a big one for me. I really struggle with the identity loss of not feeling like a mom since my kids are grown. So hopefully you guys will find this topic helpful as well. Oh, hi guys. All right, I do see people in the chat. Thank you so much. Oh, feel better. Yeah, I hope I feel better. I I was just sick. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, I'm sure you can hear it. It's like in my chest this time, which is not good, not good. It's because I work in a petri dish of a middle school, so it's like every germ available, I am sure I am getting it all. But yeah, it's great to see you guys. Thank you for joining us live. So, all right, I guess we're gonna get to it because I like to keep these kind of short and sweet. So the prompt for today is basically just answering the question, who am I now? So what do you feel like now? And you can start however you want. If you need some ideas, I used to be this person, but now I feel like I'm this person, or I don't know who I am right now. Or maybe you're trying to become someone, you're working really hard to, you know, become a different kind of person that is happier. But there's no wrong version, and it's going to depend on where you are yourself. So we're going to write together on the stream. I tried to use music last time and it didn't work, but I think I have it working this time just to kind of help us keep track of the time. So the music is about 8 minutes long. Um, and I'll kind of stop every now and then just to sort of guide you along. But mostly I'm just going to be silent and play the music. And hopefully you have your journal. I've got my journal here and my pen. And I'm just going to journal along with you guys. If you feel stuck, maybe start with what you miss about who you used to be before your loss. I think that might be where I'm going to go. We'll see. But okay, I'm going to start the music. And hopefully it is not disturbing. All right, so we've got about 8 minutes. So Jackie, I see your comment. I'm so sorry for the loss of your best friend. Yeah, best friends that are like sisters. That has to be really hard. 35 years you were friends. That is a very long time. It must have been a beautiful friendship. Yeah. All right, so how did it go for you guys? That one is kind of a hard one for me. So, if you need to take a deep breath in and release some of that negative energy. Maybe yours was positive. I don't know. Mine seems to be a little negative about this. So typically I just like to share a little bit about what I came up with. And then if you want to type in the chat, maybe something that you came up with in your writing, if you feel comfortable sharing with the chat, the community. Otherwise, please do not feel like you have to. Or maybe just one word that kind of sums up what you came up with for your identity now could work there for the chat. So a tiny glimpse of what came up for me. I kind of talked about this a little bit going in, but I wrote about how I used to be and who I used to be. I was a mom with 3 kids, and now I am an empty nester, and my boys are grown and flown, and my daughter is gone. And I miss that noise and that chaos. And I don't always know where that leaves me. I feel like my sons don't need me very much anymore. And I try to tell myself a lot that that's a good thing. That's a good thing that they are creating their own lives and they're confident and comfortable doing that. And they're becoming, successful adults. So hopefully that means I did a good job. But on the other hand, it really hurts that they don't need their mama anymore. And I also feel like, when I think about it, I feel sad, I guess is the word for it, simple word, but it's honest. I feel sad because I feel like Libby needed me more. I don't know if that's a girl and boy thing, sons and daughters, but yeah, I feel like my daughter needed me more. And obviously she was younger, but I feel like we had a different relationship. She was much more like clingy than my sons ever were. They were always kind of rambunctious and doing their own thing. So yeah, and along with that, then I kind of went into my parents, because along with losing that mom role, I lost the daughter role because both of my parents are gone. And I miss that. I miss that the more years that pass since that happened, the more I miss being a daughter and just having someone to call up and, ask me how I'm doing and to be proud of me, I definitely miss that. Being a sibling is strange now because we've had so much loss in our family that a lot of times I feel guilty. Like I'm not a great sibling. We're not super close. And we never really were. And then with losing our parents and my other sister, it's just, we've broken apart even more. And that makes me sad. And I feel like I could be doing more to help that. And I'm not a wife anymore either, which is also very weird because I miss that, because I felt like I was a good wife. And that was part of my identity. I always said I would have been a great 1950s housewife. But yeah, so identity is a really deep subject for me. So mine was more of like a vent session. So I see in the comments, is it Twyla, I guess, wrote about what you want to becoming. That's great. That is such a positive focus to take to this journaling session. Yeah, and I love that it was uplifting for you. So yeah, yeah, everything feels off when you lose a spouse. Yeah, everything's going to feel off, and not having each other anymore to get through things together. Absolutely. I can see where that would be a huge identity shift. So yeah, it's hard. Loss is hard. Grief is hard. Becoming a different person is hard. It's about kind of getting to know who we are, whether we're quieter or we're thinking harder about what matters, Twyla wants joy again. Twyla, you and me both. I am with you there. So it's hard. It is hard sometimes to focus on the positive, but I love that you were able to do that. And you know what? That's a great thing. Just even if your writing was negative, which I think mine leaned a little bit negative, maybe take a second and just think like Twyla about something joyful about your identity. I can think of one right off the bat. I am a huge people pleaser. I've always had a problem being a people pleaser, but ever since I lost my daughter, I am much less of a people pleaser. And in a good way that people aren't like walking all over me and I'm not exhausting myself taking care of other people. Um, I think that is a good identity shift that I've had. And being able to do this, that's part of my identity now. And I love this new part of my identity. I hate how I got here, but I love doing what I'm doing. So yes, and grief definitely blows and sucks. You will always hear that around here. But yeah, I do like the idea of focusing on those little bits of joy to wrap up here. So there is research that shows that your identity literally reorganizes itself when you're experiencing grief, and your brain rewires around the absences that you're going through, and your routines change and your purpose shifts. And I've definitely found that myself. So the version of you that you were is now gone. It's not the same blueprint as it was before. But that is not failure. That is evolution. And we have to kind of go along with that evolution and just do the best that we can. A lot of forgiveness, self-forgiveness comes with that, for not being who we were before, for being more tired, for needing more help, for changing who we are. But it's not something that we can help. We just have to kind of embrace it and do the best that we can. So if your writing shifted into like guilt at all, please, that makes total sense. Don't ever feel bad about that. It is normal. And if you were confused, not knowing what to write, also normal. Just saying, I don't know who I am now is an answer. It's an honest answer. So that's okay too. So, oh, I'm so glad that you're enjoying the journaling. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I love doing this. It's easy for me, and if it helps you, it's helping me. I wanted to get back into it, so I'm so glad that you guys are here coming along with me. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for trusting me with the prompts, and thank you for commenting in the chat and being part of the community and doing this with a cyber room full of strangers. Because I think it helps. So hopefully you find it helpful as well. I will be back here again next Sunday with a different prompt, so I hope you will join me then. Until then, have a great week. I'll have a new video on Thursday, and then another morning coffee next Sunday, and then another journaling session. So plug it away, trying to give you guys a lot of content to make up for the time that I was off redoing my house. So I appreciate your support so much, and I will see you guys next week. All right. Bye, everyone. Take care. Have a good rest of your Sunday.